Are you all ready for some popcorn? This photo is filled with gruesome faces. It's giving me the creeps, and there's even a few names of our villagers from the Japanese seem linked to the case, still in shock. The Japanese seem to be running late, staring at us like, "You catching me?" Wintershire and the others bolted like startled. On his way home, Cheng Fu looked lost, totally spaced out. Only after Wintershire pressed him did he spill nervously. He even gave Wintershire a shoe from the Japanese houses lost and found. Wintershire was stunned but bore his daughter Hyunjin's name. He rushed home to ask his daughter if she had met the Japanese alone. The moment he saw her nod, his heart sank pound. Subtitles. But when he inquired about the meeting details from his daughter, she suddenly seemed like a completely different person, and Wintershire instantly realized that things were not so simple. That night, he snuck into his daughter's room hoping to find clues in Hyunjin's diary. But the more he read, the more his jaw dropped. The diary was crammed with bizarre doodles, and one featuring two little girls had Wintershire jumping out of his seat. He quickly lifted his daughter's nightgown. Only then did he notice that his daughter's face was entirely dotted with pimples, as if she had just attended a bubble party. But before Dongchai could even react, his daughter suddenly woke up, launching a full-scale rebellion meeting with both her grandmother and mother. His daughter began cursing him, threatening to take him down. Seeing her unfamiliar look, Wintershire knew it was linked to the Japanese. Early the next morning, he charged over, only to find the photos had vanished. Poof. Wintershire furiously questioned the Japanese about the purpose, only to hear tourism in return. He felt insulted and smashed that mysterious altar in a huff. But he failed to grasp the severity, drawing the Japanese's notice. Next morning, a headless black corpse hung at his door. Wintershire felt a strange discomfort, but during his treatment, a larger calamity struck. Hyunjin used scissors to create chaos with the neighbor's grandma. Just when one wave receded, another surged. A man claiming to be Xiaozhen showed up, stating Hyunjin was surely cursed because even outside the door, he could sense this guy was indeed not simple after a stroll around. He immediately spotted the problem. A crow's corpse was floating in the vat. Everyone was left speechless. The exorcism ceremony began, and as Xiaozhen cast spells, Hyunjin screamed in pain. Everyone thought this would cure his daughter, but halfway through the ritual, Hyunjin suddenly fainted. Xiaozhen solemnly asked Wintershire if had offended anyone recently, warning that if not addressed, the whole village would be in trouble. To keep performing his ritual, he asked for money, which Wintershire agreed to instantly. Strangely, when Xiaozhen changed clothes, he was wearing the same attire as the Japanese. As the day of the ceremony arrived, Xiaozhen was preparing while the Japanese in the mountains were gearing up for their own magic shenanigans. This part led to misunderstandings among netizens, but I'll break it down later. As the sun set, the losing shoes ceremony came. This ceremony made Oscar winner Xiaozhen laugh 36 times. See for yourself. As Xiaozhen's spell grew stronger. Inside the house, Hyunjin's screams grew more pathetic, while the Japanese were also unable to withstand it, crumpling on the ground as if on their lap. Just as the ceremony was on the verge of concluding perfectly, Dongchai abruptly overturned the ritual implements, roaring loudly to drive everyone away, as he simply couldn't bear to see his daughter continue to suffer. To save his daughter's life, he rushed her to the hospital, then stormed over to the Japanese's residence with a gang. They didn't find the Japanese but stumbled upon a bubble-covered monster in the backyard, the creature growling like a zombie straight out of a movie. The scary part was this guy had monster strength, and Dongchai's group stood no chance as the zombie lunged toward him. Just when things looked dire, the monster collapsed, shaking wildly, and soon went still. At that moment, someone pointed out another figure nearby, and Dongchai looked over. Oh snap, isn't that the missing Japanese guy? Looks like he pulled all the strings. Dongchai yelled and went after him. Though they all grew up in the village, they clearly didn't know these woods as well as him. Before long, they lost sight of the Japanese, and Dongchai broke down, imagining his daughter might suffer the same fate as that monster. Meanwhile, the hiding Japanese guy was relieved not to have been discovered, but then he turned and froze in fear. A figure in white suddenly appeared in the distance, with the ghostly grin fixed on him. This was the witness from Dongchai's dream. The Japanese guy looked terrified of this figure and wasted no time getting out of dodge before Dongchai found him. Meanwhile, Dongchai was driving home when suddenly something fell from the sky, crashing onto his windshield. After stabilizing the car, A terrified crew hurriedly jumped out to check and found it was the Japanese guy who fell. The Japanese had stopped breathing. Dongjai tossed the body over the cliff. They didn't notice the figure in white on the hill behind them, coolly observing the whole scene. When Dongjai returned to the hospital, his daughter had woken up. He felt that everything had come to a standstill. He didn't care if he had to bear the blame for murder. He thought life was finally back on track. But little did he know, this was just the beginning. That same night, another tragedy struck the village, and the culprit was Dongjai's own partner Ching Fu, covered in bizarre lumps. Unaware, Dongjai settled his daughter and then saw Hyun Dozan calling, his ears ringing with "Take me with you." Without hesitation, Dongjai hung up, refusing to deal with such a bizarre person again. As he walked towards Dongjai's house, his nose bled uncontrollably, and nearby, the lady in white looked equally eerie. As he moved closer, Hyun Dozan couldn't hold back his vomit, and the woman's cackling laugh was unbearable. Hyun Dozan panicked and fled, once back home, desperately whipping himself with ritual items in sheer anxiety. He nervously lit candles, staring intently into the flame until a crow suddenly fell into the room, making him jump out of his skin. He sped away from the trouble, but shortly into the drive, swarms of moths kamikazed into his windshield like they were on a mission.